Can you imagine if a pet had a little tights
Some
and
skins.
Yeah.
Like she was annoyed at me for taking my hat back.
And I said, Nicolas Cage saw me. She said, doesn't matter, get off the set.
Hello and welcome to Patchwork. My name is Dion and I am with Christian.
Welcome to Patchwork.
And Josh.
Welcome to Patchwork.
Christian, on the back of last episode, you having a go at me about the state of my car, we went to see Dr. Brian Greene, who's an astrophysicist.
Yep.
We went to see a talk, but before the talk, we were lining up.
All right, you got me.
And we were...
I did go.
And we were mingling at the convention centre, and I noticed a friend of mine who was apparently running the whole thing, and talked to him. And in our current unemployed state, I was looking to... extend the friendship of my friend to you to perhaps potentially get you a job working for the not-for-profit that he works for. Mm-hmm. And the friend was very nice and he was very pleased to meet you, and it sounded like he was quite interested in maybe having you on board. And so we had a little bit of a chat. He needed to go because he was organising the whole event for this big not-for-profit. And Christian, do you remember when we finally said our parting words, and he said, it was really nice to meet you, Christian. Do you remember what you said to him? This is the head of the events department of a big not-for-profit that you potentially would want to work and volunteer for. Do you remember what you said to him, Christian? What was the thing? What were the words that you uttered to him as he was walking away?
I said, see ya, cunt.
And that's not a joke. That's not a joke. That is something that actually happened. Now, if it was...
In my defence, I was walking away. So whether
that makes it way better.
You were moving.
I wasn't looking at him.
Yeah. I thought it was just kind of mumbled. It just came out, to be honest. I was really worried about how easily it just is now in part of my vernacular.
Yeah.
But also, the other part in my defence, I'm not unemployed. You're unemployed. Don't bring me down in this sinking ship.
No, but running your family business is not a form of employment. That's just something you fall into. It's like the 13-year-old that's working at the charcoal chicken place because his Lebanese parents just have him in the business because they can't afford to pay, the 16-year-old acne-faced girl that works at the place that deposits chips and chicken onto people's plates.
I still wake up with purpose. Dion, what's the best thing about being unemployed?
A lot of people think that the best thing about being unemployed is that you have a lot of time to run errands. But the thing is that when you work 9 to 5, sometimes you can catch a particular shop, like a post office that opens till 5:30. You're like, great, I've got that half an hour gap. At the moment, I have all day to get errands done, but that does not equal productivity. And also, there aren't that many errands to run, but it also makes you think when you're unemployed, when did I get all this shit done when I was working? When the hell did this get done?
I think it's so strange that professions are open generally 9 to 5, because people that are working in them, how do they get to the other profession that they need? Where's the interaction happening?
Because I've seen so often, I have this weird notion when I see people wandering around, even when I'm one of those people wandering around in the city or something midweek, I'm like, what are you doing here? You should be at work. Like, I'm not at work.
I think it's the people that are most perplexing to me are the men and women that are in their active wear that are working out at 2:30 in the afternoon. Like, what's happening? Why are you doing that? How can you afford to wear active wear and not be at work?
This is the illusion that Instagram is giving us, because every single time I think about being unemployed and how I would better use my time, I always think about that I'm just going to go and interact with nature, and I'm going to somehow just get into yoga, because everyone on Instagram tends to be doing these things. Everyone's wearing activewear and they're all doing yoga and they're all going for hikes. Dion, have you gone for a single hike since you've been unemployed?
Just to the post office. That's it. That's one of the top of 1,000 steps. There's a post office up there.
I feel like, honestly, the best use of your time now, being unemployed, create like...
Hang on. This isn't a consult. This is not me asking for your career advice. I know what's best for me,
Dion,
Christian.
I run the chicken shop.
How old are you?
No, Dion, honestly, I think what you should be doing is opening like 20 Instagram accounts,
Yeah.
one for every area of interest. Just take other people's photos and post them. Do that all day and just hope one of them takes off.
Just had an idea, like a business idea. Is there activewear for...
Is that it?
Is there activewear for pets? Is there activewear for cats?
There's raincoats and woolly things.
Can you imagine if a pet had a little tights
Some
and you
skins.
Just, skin,
Some furs.
just chases that bird a lot quicker. Some furs is good.
That's such an incredible idea, honestly.
Why is that a good idea?
Great idea.
It's a good idea in as much that idiots would buy it.
Yes.
It's not a practical idea.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Talking about being unemployed, I've got a friend who recently quit his job because he's going to start his own business, and he actually got a payout from his work that he wasn't allowed to work for 3 months, like a
wow.
non-competition thing. I'm like, that is like the best form of being unemployed. It's like, I actually can't work. And I'm still being paid.
Hang on, so there was a non-compete with every single profession?
Yeah, it's so strange.
I don't know, but it was like he was still getting paid for like 3 months after he quit.
I've never even heard of a concept like that.
Yeah, so they're going to find him making coffee somewhere. It's like, get out. This is against the contract.
Caught up.
Yeah, give us the money
But I know
back.
it's big in acting. Like if you do particular ads and stuff,
Oh,
they really have to compensate you because you're like the face of a brand. So like if you do, for instance, a Coke ad, you like might have a thing that you can't do any Pepsi ads or something like that.
I think that was something. I had a friend when I was younger that used to do acting, but they were always really concerned about being typecast. And that friend like was
As an actor.
Yeah, as an actor. No, but like, so they wouldn't do stuff on Neighbours or wouldn't do ads because then they'd be that kid. Do you remember
Amazing. I love the idea of you just waiting for your big break without any lead up.
I know, that's, yeah, exactly, yeah.
I was typecast. I used to be an extra, and every single time that I was called to set, they'd always go, okay, we need someone who's kind of the thuggish, that guy there. Or, oh, we kind of need someone who it's a bit sketchy, that guy there. At one point, I was the guy who was putting bets on the horses. I've been that guy. I've been bully. I've been captain of the footy club. So I've kind of like just very...
And if any of this real, like to real life, is it anywhere close?
Yeah, it's so true.
Is it? Am I the captain of the footy club? I'm doing a podcast in my mum's home on a fucking Wednesday afternoon.
Hang on, but what roles would you have preferred? Like, if they were calling out your name to be a particular role, what would it have been?
Handsome man with large cock.
On the topic of being unemployed, I found that playing social sport has actually become a top priority because it's the one time where I can like do something during the day because
And forget about the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
For 40 minutes.
40 minutes. 2 20-minute halves, I can forget everything. But isn't it the most frustrating thing in the world, organising a social sport team? It is awful.
It just depends on the commitment. If you've got a committed team of X number of people, you're fine. When you're down, because I do netball and I umpire netball and have a team, and I've had a team for many years. And like you normally have 7 on a team. There was a season when we had like 5 regulars, and every single week looking for fill-ins is just the biggest pain in the ass.
It's the worst. So I'm wondering, what is it about social sport? Is it the fact that it's called social sport? Because it's organised sport. You make a commitment, you pay money. What is it about it?
I'm curious, Josh, with that netball team that you started, how long has it been going?
Years, probably
Years.
3 or 4 years, I reckon. at
I
least.
think the key is to get people in early, and that's how you get the commitment. Before people have jobs and lives that take their priority.
But that said, the team name remains. It's literally me is the only person from the original team when it started.
Really?
Yeah. So it used to be a bunch of sort of school friends. And then over the years, it sort of people dropped off and boyfriends and friends and girlfriends and stuff came in, and then friends came in. And now it's a completely different team to what it used to be. And now we're really good.
So you've actively gone recruited.
But yeah, I can't get people organised. You can't incentivize it enough. There's got to be a way. There's got to be an amazing way to get people on board, because it's almost like people are bad nowadays with committing to things. But I feel like social sport is like the bottom of the barrel, getting a commitment from people.
I think part of the problem might be that people go a bit funny, a bit of white line fever. And maybe some people, it's like the Incredible Hulk, like they don't realise until they get on that court.
Yeah.
Like, because I've had a few incidences, which is just crazy because I've umpired for many years. And this one time, this girl, she just got really upset. It wasn't me as the other umpire. She got really upset with the other umpire for some reason. And then she just kind of flipped out and then like lifted her top up over her head and ran around the court screaming, I'm the umpire, I'm the umpire, I'm the umpire. And like, what is going on in your life that this is happening when you come to social sport? I don't understand.
Can we get her on the show?
That's such a strange reaction to have, to lift your top up.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Was everyone...
You're doing it now, Christian.
I'm Josh. I'm in a podcast. The other thing coming from an umpiring perspective that I find very strange, like when you're kids and you're playing sport and that kind of thing, you're a bit immature. When you become an adult, I find it bizarre when there's an instance where I'll make a call or something. It's like, oh, you just pushed this person. Quite clearly, very clear. I saw it. Like, no, I didn't, mate. Don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you're a grown adult. Why are you lying to me?
Yeah.
Like, I know what you did. I saw what you did. Why are you defending yourself?
That's weird.
Do you think that's what happens? People regress back to like their primal selves, their children?
It is pretty primal. Like I had this experience where I was playing this football, AFL 9s, like a version of Australian football. And I was going up for a mark and this guy came behind me and like hit me over the head and it hurt a lot. And I went flying through the air and he hit the ground. And as I was flying through the air, I had this feeling, I was like, I could avoid this guy, you know, when coming down, or I could sink my knees into him. And I don't think I've ever done it before. So I was going through the air and then my knees just went straight sort of into his neck and into his sort of sternum. And then I looked around and his teammates were coming from all angles. Whoa. Christian, I think you might have been playing in that same game.
Yeah,
but teammate came from all angles. Christian, you didn't come in to defend me, which is quite interesting. I wanted to address that with you.
Really? Do you want to address it now?
I'd love to.
I'll tell you the reason that I didn't come to defend Dion is because the team all ran towards him and he said, no, I didn't mean it. That's why. It was over before it began.
He could defend
But
himself.
Dion's description of him flying through the air and then kind of inconspicuously, I'm going to decide whether it was very blatant that he decided at one point in time there's going to be a knee deliberately dove into this guy's back.
But it was deemed by the umpire. The umpire said it was a free kick to you, but I've reversed it because you put your knees into his neck and sternum.
Good call. I'm right behind that call.
It was really good umpiring.
I would have thought, Christian, with your extras casting, you would have been straight in there, laying at the punches, getting some good work.
It takes me too long to get into character.
Were they TV shows or movies or short films?
I did all Australian television and one international movie.
What was it?
Okay, so this is incredible. I was on the set for Knowing, which is a Nicolas Cage film that they shut down Spring Street for. I was at first going to be a featured extra. So I was within 2 meters of Mr. Nicolas Cage as he drove his car through what was a post-apocalyptic landscape. And I was supposed
in Spring Street.
And not much has changed.
And I was supposed to be banging on his window. So I was going to be very clearly in shot. But before filming, they gave us one very clear rule. So this is about 4 years ago. Maybe even longer, 6 years ago. They said, do not look at Mr. Cage.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Don't look at Mr. Cage and do not take a photo of Mr. Cage. What did I do? I walked away slightly. And I thought I was very inconspicuous about it. I took my phone out.
Had a selfie stick and extended it.
And a very large flash, an antique flash.
Put up my photography umbrella.
And you said, Nicholas. Smile.
The most amazing thing is I took a photo. The assistant director walked up to me and said, okay, you're off set. And I said, well, what did I do? She said, Mr. Cage spotted you taking a photo of him.
That's great.
And I said, Nicolas Cage saw me. She said, doesn't matter. Get off the set.
Maybe that's like his superpower, his special power. He knows when people have their phones out looking at him.
Have you gone back to watch the film, that particular scene, and gone, oh, yep, I could have been in there?
Could have been me.
Yeah, it very obviously would have been me because I saw my replacement.
Oh my God, did he look exactly like you?
That was a small Asian woman. And now it's time for Monotoly. In Monotoly, all 3 of us attempt to engage in an incredibly monotonous and flaccid conversation set in a new location every week. This week, we roll the dice and find ourselves in the cinema.
Hi there, I just wanted to get some popcorn and some Coke, please.
Sure, could I get your movie ticket?
Yep, there you go.
Thank you very much. Okay, so that was a popcorn and a Coke. Did you want to purchase any of our deals instead? So,
What are the deals?
yeah, so if you look just above my head here, we've got the popcorn, it's a large popcorn, a large Coke, and a Mars bar, and that's all $10.
$10?
Yeah, yeah.
It's quite a lot of money for...
Well, individually they're relatively more expensive, so I'd probably recommend getting the combo.
How much are they individually?
So the popcorn individually is $6, the Coke is $5, and the Mars bar is $4.
Really?
Yeah, so it's pretty good value. It's probably it's probably the best I get. Otherwise, you can get the family combo, which also has 2 hot dogs.
2 hot dogs, but there are 5 people in my family, so that won't suffice.
So you can get 2 of the large combos, and then we can also add another hot dog in.
Hi, excuse me. Sorry, can I just come through, please? Hi, I was just after some popcorn and a Coke, please.
Sure. Could I grab your movie ticket?
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you very much.
I still haven't paid for mine.
No, sorry, I'm in line. I'm here for the 3:20 session.
So it's 5:30.
Yeah, but it's 3:20. Is that?
No. But so your film is almost finished.
I'll have the family.
No, excuse me, sir. I'm in line. Surely there's a lot of previews and ads.
The previews, the previews.
I thought they normally go for like 2 hours. Is that not right?
No. I think they're actually letting the people out of the cinema now.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah.
Do you have any combos that have like a Coke, a popcorn, and maybe 2 hot dogs?
But the film's not on.
That's okay. I'm on my way home. I need something for the ride home. I was at a multi-day camping music festival the other week, and for one of the nights, me and my friends, we all got dressed up as like sailors, and we had like sailors' hats and that sort of thing. So we're in the crowd, and this girl from sort of back and to my left just sort of grabbed my hat off and put it on, like trying to flirt or whatever, be fun. And I was just like, nah, just can I have my hat back, please?
No.
And just straight away took it back off her head, put it back on. Like 15, 20 minutes later, same girl does it again. And I didn't even study her or look at her or anything. I just turned around and was like, just going to take my hat back again. I was like, I'm not interested in like it's fine if you're single and that kind of thing and it's a bit fun and flirty, but I'm past that point. I'm like, don't take my hat. Just let me wear my hat.
Yeah. I've got two really big issues here, okay? The first issue pertains to hat hair. Okay. Now, I feel particularly vulnerable to hat hair. For some reason, when I put a hat on, doesn't matter how quickly I put it on, doesn't matter how I push my hair, how gently I press the hat into my head. As soon as I take the hat off, it's like all the hair from the top of my skull has slipped to the crown and I've just got nothing on top and it's completely flat. So that's one issue I have, a really big issue with people taking my hat. The second is the idea that is flirting, right? I think that harks back to girls thinking, or even guys thinking, that it's kind of sexy to wear your boyfriend or girlfriend's clothing.
It's not about them wearing a boy's hat.
There is. Okay, so I'm really glad you debated me on this, because there's an entire style of fashion known as boyfriend.
Yeah,
okay.
So true. Boyfriend pants.
Thank you. So I got on the Wikipedia page. In fashion design, primarily in ready-to-wear lines, boyfriend is any style of women's clothing that was modified from a corresponding men's garment. Examples include boyfriend jackets, boyfriend jeans, and boyfriend blazers, which are often more unisex and looser in appearance and fit than most women's jackets or trousers.
But they're not taking off your pants and putting them on at the music festival. It's just the hat. It's just the hat.
Isn't that like the fashion designer that came up with that concept? How uninventive is that? Just coming up, and why are they calling it boyfriend as well? It's just the guy. It's just guy version. You get boyfriend.
It's just oversized clothes. It's so strange that hip hop designers and stuff did oversized clothes in like the 80s and 90s, and then the grunge scene in the 90s, and then for some reason, as soon as girls did, it was like It's boyfriend.
It's just strange.
It's because it's bigger.
But I wonder what else boyfriend could extend to in terms of other products. Maybe like a boyfriend dishwasher or something just a little bit bigger and a little bit saggier.
Or
they just like Axe body spray and stuff. Start making it.
But I get the sense, Christian, that annoys you. Why does it annoy you?
It annoys me because what if your girlfriend's bigger than you?
Oh, that doesn't happen.
And
does
then she puts your clothes on,
and they're just really tight fitting. She looks like it's like normal girl clothing again.
Yeah, it's normal clothing.
So do you wear any Well, you wear girlfriend clothes.
What do you mean I will? Yeah,
Well, you wear very tight shorts, and you're wearing hot pants today. You also wear tight jeans. Presumably but they'd never market them as girlfriend jeans because no one would buy them, would they?
To be honest, I think the thing that irks me the most is the fact that when they're wearing the boyfriend style, they're very verbal about, oh, these are boyfriend this, like, and then I feel like their posture changes as well. They become quite relaxed, like everything's very loose.
They start eating a bunch of chips all the time and drinking beer,
watching sports.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about the girls taking the hat, though, is the presumption that I can take your hat and it doesn't matter. It's like, I would never go to like a random girl and just take off their earrings or something. I'll just wear these. I'll be flirty.
So usually, Josh, when you bring up something like this, I'm on your side. With this, I don't really get it. Like, you were dressed as a sailor. You had a sailor's hat. She was trying to be cute. I mean,
I don't mind the first one, but to go back again after I've clearly just gone, I'll have that back, thanks.
Yeah.
Going back is pretty strange.
Because I had one girl, this is same festival years earlier. I think I think it was at Uni Games or something.
It was a real sailor, and she was just about to board a ship.
And I had just like a 90s style hat, whatever. And this girl just took it, and I did the same thing. I was like, I'll take that, please. And then she grabbed it and just threw it into the crowd.
That's
like she was
shit.
Annoyed at me for taking my hat back.
I'm annoyed at you for being so nondescript about the 90s style hat. What's a 90s style hat?
It's just, that sort of spray graffiti,
It's just-
black and fluoro.
It's just a Nintendo 64 on his head.
So last weekend I moved into a pretty hipster kind of suburb in the city of Melbourne.
Cool.
Very gentrified. But one of the conversations I heard when I was having lunch at a cafe was a girl was describing how she is minimizing the amount of meat in her diet, and the girl said, "Oh, there's a label for that. You're a flexitarian."
What?
So I looked it up, and a flexitarian is basically, it's a plant-based diet with the occasional inclusion of meat. Now, at the moment, Christian has his mouth open because I don't know whether you're so astounded that it has a label or whether you're really looking forward to using the label yourself when people say, are you a vegetarian or vegan? No, flexitarian. It made me think when I heard that, is it just this generation, or why are people so desperate to attach labels to things that they do?
With this flexitarian thing, what is the determination of that? Like, how much meat are you allowed? Is it a per day thing? Is it a per week?
Exactly. And is there a new term if you pass that threshold? Is there a new intermediary term which is like semi-vegetarian?
It's a semi-flexitarian.
But yeah, it made me think. So there's another word that I came across as well. So I sort of looked into these labels, and there's a label called sapiosexual, and I actually really like this.
I've heard of this.
You've heard of this? I really like this term, but I don't like the fact that there's a label attached to it. All sapiosexual is when someone finds intelligence the most attractive feature of a person.
You know where I saw that? Years ago on Tinder, it was on someone's profile.
I'm a sapiosexual.
Yeah, it was like, and if you don't know what that means, look it up.
Oh my God. But yeah, it's basically being aroused by intelligence. But really, does that need a label?
But I love the idea of like, oh, you're playing chess with someone. Yeah. Just getting off on it.
You're still on Tinder.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought it was just having sex with people who are shaded to brown. They're sepia-sexual.
Very good. Very good. But there's also, have you heard of a reductitarian? It sounds like a type of dinosaur. The reductitarian. But a reductitarian is basically, it's an identity, or it's like a movement, but it describes the same thing as a flexitarian. It's reductitarian and flexitarian. So I just don't know what's the use of this. Like, I don't understand what the use is.
For me, to use the term flexitarian, you're going to have to say, oh, it means I've minimized meat in my diet.
Exactly.
Instead of just going, I've minimized meat in my diet.
But it's not a mainstream. It's just not a mainstream term, and never will be. So what's the point in having a word that describes something so nuanced?
I'm really conflicted here because I kind of like the idea of having labels because it means that we're courteous to each other. But I also like the idea of not having labels because it means that we just accept each other for who they are. It's kind of, I think everyone's in this middle ground where we end up just hating everyone.
I think there's also an element of pretentiousness as well in that. Like, you can just say, you don't even need to have that conversation. No one needs to know what I'm eating and the divisions of meat and plants. And
I think it's also about economies of words.
True.
Like, I explained too much. Just give me one word to get it all out
That's
there.
a good point. It's people just not wanting. Maybe this is just about people not wanting to talk to other people.
And sometimes, I'll be honest, labels are super important. For example, we all have a mutual friend who is very, very, very allergic to nuts. And I wasn't particularly considerate of this, nor probably did I really think about it actively. So there was a night that I'd consumed a lot of nuts of all different varieties. And then we had a bit to drink and I was very handsy and I started kissing him on the cheek.
No way!
And his cheek blew up. What? His throat started swelling over.
Oh shit.
And I was like, "Oh my god, I've just kissed you on the cheek." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm severely allergic to nuts." And I was like,
my God.
"This guy in his everyday interactions now has to be careful, even like shaking guys' hands. They may have been scratching their nuts or something."
Back to the sexual side of these labels. One thing I find really weird is all like fetish labels for all those different kind of things. Yeah. And I always wonder, like, how does one discover their fetish?
Great.
Like, do you ease into it? Like, one day you just get a bit of piss on your leg and you go, that was great.
Dion, you've pissed all over the floor. I know I have.
I think it's more not that was great. It's more, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
I'm not disgusted by that.
Oh, it's quite warm.
So, since 2012, some Melbourne households have been subject to a number of crimes that have been perpetrated by a group known as the Apex Gang. So, if you're not aware of who the Apex Gang are, they're basically a very large group of predominantly teen boys that have been running rampant through neighbourhoods committing like armed burglaries and assaults. So, they're mostly below 18 years old. I was at the football last weekend with a friend and he told me that one of his clients, who was very well off, had his car stolen by the gang. So apparently they'd been taunting him on Facebook and LinkedIn during the weeks before. Yeah.
Teens on LinkedIn.
During the weeks before and hinting that they were going to rob his house and steal his car. So what blew me away the most about it wasn't really that they were able to like tell him and like kind of steal, he was going to steal his stuff after weeks of bullying, but more so that they were kind of demonstrating this level of organization. Like, this is a large group of mostly delinquent teenagers who have A, identified which house in the area they want to rob, B, researched the owner of the house, C, contacted said owner over varied social media platforms, and D, executed point A. It kind of sounds like they're unintentionally really great students.
Can I add an E to that? E, have a second and third connection with them on LinkedIn so they can message these people.
I love so-and-so of the Apex Gang endorsed you for being a victim.
So, but then it happened. I received a letter in the mail.
No.
It was addressed to me, and on the back, there was a stamp that read, Apex Proprietary Limited.
You're kidding me.
I opened the letter, and beneath a very minimal letterhead, it read, dated 4 April 2017. Dear Mr. Pizzasali, congratulations. After careful consideration, Apex Pty Ltd is proud to announce that your home has been selected as feature property in our next round of vandalisms. This letter serves as notice that on 28 July 2017, between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., some of our officers will be visiting your property. Please ensure that you are either A, not home, B, fast asleep, or C, alert but not alarmed. Our officers are experienced delinquents and ask only for your cooperation during this time. We cannot wait to see you on 28 July and ask that you leave this letter on your fridge as a reminder of our forthcoming visit. We will most likely not steal your fridge, but it mostly depends on how much room your car has. Kind regards, the team at Apex Proprietary Limited.
I think you need to leave some cookies and milk out for them as well. And a carrot.
The funny thing is, Josh, you just mentioned LinkedIn
Yeah.
and about how they were endorsing them as victims. What's nuts about LinkedIn, and I really have been meaning to discuss this with you, Dion, is why have you been endorsed for dog grooming?
Good question.
No comment. But that's the thing. I can endorse you for anything.
How does LinkedIn have any veracity if I can endorse you for dog grooming and then it's official?
Yeah.
Have you ever groomed a dog in your life?
Yes, but also it's this thing of you could coordinate all your friends, like 60 of your friends, to endorse you for different stuff.
Talking about the Apex Gang and youth crime as such, I was thinking to the most criminal thing that I ever did as a kid, and it was when I was probably in primary school, and me and my mates, you ride your bike everywhere, and we went down to Linden Park, and as kids sometimes do, play with matches and fire, so we got all the dry grass. They just mown the lawns of the park, so we had all this grass, and we just kind of were making this little fire bit, and it got a little bit out of control that smoke just started coming out of heat. And we freaked out. So we kind of just jumped on our bikes, rode like to the other side of the park, and we looked back and this huge smoke cloud was just floating across the park. The fire didn't take off or anything like that, but it was just a shitload of smoke. And we're like, oh, I think we've gone too far, guys.
I feel like at that age, you probably wouldn't have been able to foresee how dangerous that was. On another point, though, I love whenever Josh tells a story about him as a youth, it's always me thinking, where is his long hair going to come into the story?
It just catches fire.
Yeah, I thought
The whole thing goes up. Problem solved, Mum. Problem solved. Colin Bowman comes along. Christian, did you ever get involved in doing any graffiti or anything like that?
No. I was always very involved with the debating team that we always, for some reason, debated, is graffiti art or not?
Because I always wonder with kids, and when you grow up, do you hit this age where you go, why was I doing graffiti? Why was I tagging stuff?
Maybe, I guess some people would continue. I remember kids, there was a discussion at school about the tags that they had.
Tags are just
How do people come
dumbest.
up with those tags? I saw a tag yesterday that was pork.
What?
That was their tag. It was pork. People just inscribed pork on all over this building.
Great. Classic.
It's like, it's just like, what else did you consider?
I don't mind like proper artwork pieces, but yeah, the tags on random stuff makes no sense to me. Christian.
I feel like the one tag that I ever did, I feel very ashamed to have done it, but it kind of lived in infamy throughout my year level. So it was on a desk in the chemistry room, and it probably sums up me a little bit. So basically,
it's a big swastika.
In chemistry, there are concepts, I'm not going to go into them, about oxidation and reduction. There's also a way that you can remember about loss of electrons and gain of electrons. There's this formula, and it's oil rig, right? That's how you remember. Oxidation is loss, reduction is gain.
Good.
Right? So I wrote on a table at the back, oxidation is loser, reduction is gumboot.
We need to track down that desk.
Oh, that'll show the science teacher.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's the most I ever graffitied in my life.
We had a genius in this class. No, I remember I inscribed something on a desk as well, but I don't recall what it was. I think the worst thing you can do on a desk is the chewing gum at the bottom of the desk.
I cannot stand that because I often cross my legs like they are now, and often my knee will touch the top of the table, and I have got many, many times gum on the top of my knee into my jeans, and it really pisses me off. And the people who do it, I remember I spoke to someone, they're like, oh yeah, I do that. I'm like, haven't you ever felt under a table and got gum on your fingers or on your pants? And they're like, yeah, I have. I'm like, then why do you keep doing it?
Have you never heard of a bin?
Yeah. Sorry, you look like you having a go at me. I don't do it.
You sound like such a bitchy schoolgirl then. Have you never heard of a bin? Actually, that reminds me of when we went to dinner a couple of weeks ago, and we had the most incredible waitress come up to us. So we walked into this Japanese restaurant, and there was a waitress there. She would have been maybe late 40s, early 50s.
She's Japanese.
No, to be honest, she could have been anywhere between 30 and 50.
That's true.
And she was Caucasian.
Yeah, it was in quite an affluent part of town. And so the first thing she said to us was, "Hi guys," and this is not, I don't think this is actually exaggerating. "Hey guys, do you have a booking tonight?" Like, yeah, we've booked for 4 under my name. "Okay, let me show you to your seat." And then, so we ushered to our seat, took us down, sat us down at the table. "Would you like sparkling or tap water to start off tonight?" "I would just have tap water, that's fine." "Okay, let me get that for you. Do you guys also want any beer?"
And Dion, as much as it sounds ludicrous, that is a spot-on impression. This woman exists.
Yeah. It was incredible. So she was serving us all night and going, "Do you guys want any? Do you guys want some starters?"
It's like once she started speaking, her mouth relaxed, and the other words were trying to fight for the last remaining space as her mouth closed.
The weird thing is, is that her affecting that voice when she's at work, or does she always speak like that? Because I find
maybe it's training that all the waitresses get. We didn't speak to anyone else, but everyone talks like that, and they talk like that. The chefs talk like that in the kitchen as well. "Can you pass me that bowl of rice? It's really looking sad."
2 more steaks for table 3.
What's even a steak anymore?
You're fired. You're a shit dish pig.
Yeah, but you've got a shit voice as well. Do you want another beer?
But I was wondering the way that voice is affected that news readers do it as well.
Yeah.
Like you just take, for instance, Jane Bunn, who does the weather, but any of them, they do this weird way they talk. It's like, and it's like, this is what you normally say. You go, "It's going to be 23 degrees later today. And it's going to be 23 degrees later today." It's like, no, just speak like a normal human being.
Do you think that Jane Bunn's parents had a discussion that like her dad sort of went, if we call her Jane, it's going to be 2 one-syllable names. Is that okay? And the mum was like, "No, I'm not really sure if that's a great idea, isn't it?" "No, just trust me, Jane Bunn."
Everyone will refer to her as the double bagger, Jane Bunn. You're never going to call her Jane.
I don't know if I can think of anyone that has both names one syllable. Can you think of anyone?
Really? There's a footballer called Aaliyah.
That's
Aaliyah?
That's 4,
you
mate.
idiots!
No, I'm not talking about syllables. I'm talking about he's got the same name.
Oh,
no. So he's no. Here, let me preface it this
Aaliyah.
way. Ready? So the babies come out, and then the dad, maybe Sam Aaliyah, the mum Maria Aaliyah, go.
Yep.
What are we going to call him? I don't know. Travis? No,
I'm fresh out of ideas.
You know what? All I can think about is Aaliyah. I guess.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's just do it.
So what? Hang on, just Aaliyah? No, we'll just do it twice.
Should we do it 3 times? Does he need a middle name? No, that's overkill.
Really, really good. You know what's really, really good? Really, really good. You know what's really, really good?
You know what's really good? When you wash your clothes and hang them out to dry on a really hot day.
Really good.
Really good.
Really good. You know what's really good? Finally learning how to properly use cloud storage and never having to worry about losing all your data ever again.
Really good.
Really good.
Really good.
Really good.
You know what's really good? When a coworker prints out a meme and it actually makes sense.
Really good.
Really good.
Really good.
You know what's really good? Tourists walking around and enjoying your city.
Really good.
Really good.
Really good.
Really good. You know what's really good? When a restaurant has their music at an appropriate volume for a restaurant.
Really good. Really good. Good. Really good. Really good. You know what's really good? Ribena.
Really good.
Thank you for listening to our podcast this week. If you have suggestions or you'd like to submit a really good, You can search for Welcome to Patchwork on Facebook. That's welcome with a W, not a V. And if you're enjoying our podcast, please head over to iTunes and leave a review. It really helps us out, and it will make you feel good about yourself because you'll receive a voucher from iTunes in the mail. Thank you for listening to Welcome to Patchwork. I have been Dion.
I've been Josh.
And I've been Christian.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.